Thank you for staying with us on the Third Eye Television, broadcasting from the Central Business District, Abuja. My name is Bivan Magoni, and this is the morning show. But in our headlines, first, President Bola Tinubu expresses appreciation to the military for for serving under difficult situation while stating his administration resolved not to probe the heads of security agencies in the country. Meanwhile, President Bola Tinubu says there was no going back on the tax reform bills, which has sparked controversy across the country in recent weeks. And to security, Inspector General of Police Kaide Betokun advocates sustained collaboration in order to tackle the security challenges bedeviling the country. This and many more right after the break. Just stay with us. Good morning once again. My name is Bivan Magoni, and to the news in detail, President Bola Tinubu says he's not going to probe heads of security services in the country, stressing that it is not good to disrespect the institution. The president, who said it is while fielding questions on utilization of funds by service chiefs in the fight against terrorism and other security challenges in the country, stating that he is satisfied with the performance of security heads in the country so far. The president, however, noted that there may be leakages here and there, but that the government has put effective control mechanisms in place to monitor budget releases and that funds were being judiciously utilized. He said that the service chiefs and women, they said that the servicemen and women are operating in very precarious conditions and that their welfare should be considered. President Tinubu, in his first media chat on Monday, said is proud of what they are doing, adding that there is no need to conduct a probe. Also, during the media chat, President Tinubu said he is not going back on the tax reform bills. He said the bills are necessitated by the need to eliminate colonial-based assumptions in the nation's tax environment. The tax reforms have sparked controversy across the country, forcing the National Assembly to step down debate on the bills following mounting pressure, particularly from northern state governors and some lawmakers who feel that the proposed law could result in economic disadvantage of some regions. The bills include the Nigeria Tax Bill 2024, which aims to provide the fiscal framework for taxation in the country, and the Tax Administration Bill, which will provide a clear and concise legal framework for all taxes in the country, and also in order to reduce disputes. Others add the Nigeria Revenue Service Establishment Bill, expected to repeal the Federal Inland Revenue Service Act and establish the Nigeria Revenue Service, as well as the Joint Revenue Board Establishment Bill, which will create a tax tribunal and also a tax ombudsman. The Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, has advocated sustained collaboration in order to tackle the security challenges bedeviling parts of the country. Egbetokun said this in Ogbonna Etako Central Local Government Area of Edo State during the official commissioning of the fully equipped ultra-modern Ogbonna Divisional Police Office and handing over of police patrol vehicle and 4 motorcycles to the State Police Command. The police station with the state-of-the-art ICT Security Command and Control Center was built and equipped by the Ogbonna Youth Forum in collaboration with the Executive Director of Inter-Atlas Synergy, Mr. Peter Omo Dunia. The police boss, who was represented by Assistant Inspector General of Police Zone 5, Benin City, Masa Arungwa Udo, said community collaboration was imperative in addressing insecurity and peaceful coexistence. According to him, the police cannot be everywhere at the same time, hence the need for public sustained support and collaboration. Heads of security agencies in Imo State and Southeast Nigeria have solicited the continued support of stakeholders to achieve hitch-free Yuletide celebrations in the state. The security chiefs, who met the call during a joint show of force security exercise in Owerri, the state capital, on Monday, assured Imo residents of their safety and protection during the Yuletide celebrations. They disclosed that massive personnel have been deployed across the state to ensure lives and properties were protected, adding that the personnel are well equipped to guarantee adequate security in the state during the festive period. Speaking on behalf of the security chiefs, the State Police Commissioner, Mr. Aboki Denjuma, noted that the command, in synergy with other sister agencies, were battle ready to forestall any act capable of truncating the existing peace in the state during the Yuletide season. President Bola Tinubu has flagged off the 2024 main Christian pilgrimage exercise to Israel and the Hashemite Kingdom of Jordan. At the event in Lagos, Tinubu emphasized on the powers of prayers and sanctity of religion, urging the Nigeria Christian Pilgrims Commission (NCPC) and intending Christian pilgrims to see their pilgrimage journey as a chance to deepen their faith in God. The president, who was represented by the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume, explained that pilgrimage is a spiritual journey of faith and should be treated with all seriousness. The president commended the NCPC under the leadership of Bishop Stephen Adibite for his bold initiatives. And that's the news right here from Third Eye Television. Coming up next is the press review, and as usual, I have our public affairs commentators, journalists, and of course, other titles to this gentleman. Stay with us. It's Third Eye Television. Welcome back, and this is the press review. Now, the president, in his first media chat, talked about quite some pertinent issues in the polity, and one of them is the fact that he's not going to probe the service chiefs, and then secondly, that there's no going back on the tax reform bills, which of course sparked some serious controversy, both within the National Assembly and of course beyond, where citizens were debating the whole issue. But with me today, we have our public affairs commentators talking about Ben Shemang and Udo Etefia, journalists, public affairs commentators, and they are more than just titles and all of that. Gentlemen, good morning and welcome to the morning show on Third Eye.
Thank you for having us.
Good to see you. Now, what do you think pre-informed such a decision by the president, starting with you, Ben, that he is not going to probe the security chiefs? What do you think pre-informed that, and do you think it's a step in the right direction?
I think it's going to be a total distraction, real total distraction, bearing in mind that these are people who have so committed themselves, their lives, their everything, surrendered their families. They are always awake, come rain, come shine, so that the rest of us can sleep. And when we talk of a recent terrorist group springing up in Sokoto, Kebbi area, you could see that these military personnel, talk of service chiefs, they actually went there, and it looks like we are not hearing anything about these Lukarawas, meaning that the service chiefs are doing a good job through their soldiers. So for you to just wake up, okay, I want to probe what now? Whose money is missing? When they are busy crying out, they need more money for equipment, they need money to buy, to service some of their equipment, money for kids, money for welfare. I mean, give them those things, and Nigeria will be better for it. So if you just wake up, people are saying, probe them. Those calling for probe, they say in the National Assembly, this money has been appropriated. Who is telling you appropriation is an equivalence of money being available? Who is telling you that when you also approve, that money would just automatically come? And in an era where the Naira is not performing very well side by side international currency, how can we be talking of we want to probe? It's a mere serious waste of time if we embark in that kind of a thing, or the president embarks on that kind of a thing.
Okay, Udo, let's hear from you. What do you have to say about all of this? Do you think it's setting good precedents for the future, looking at the fact that this is security we're talking about, and people have been talking about looking at security as a case of conflictpreneurship, where people say if the government, if the security agents want to stop insecurity, they will do that, but they see it as a means of making money. And the government, the president is saying, I'm not going to prop the service chief. Don't you think it's going to make things worse?
Well, I don't think so. As he has said, I think probing them now is going to be, as he has said, a great deal of distraction, because right now it's like they are in the midst of the battle. And if you say you want to probe, you set up a panel, it means that they have to be called out to come and testify before the panel. And I think the president is at the top there, and he knows how these things operate. He has said that there is a mechanism for monitoring releases of budgets, allocations to the military, and he knows how it's being used. So the president knows better than those who might be calling for probe, and who says, even if you set up a probe panel, that anything is going to come out, anything positive. Instead, we may end up spending more money in probing without getting a result. I think even if there is an idea to probe, this is not the right time to say we want to probe the military, because nothing good is going to come out of such a probe.
Okay, let's quickly take a look at our newspaper headlines for today from Leadership Newspaper. We have no regret for instant removal of petrol subsidy. That's according to Tinubu, which you can find on page 4 of the Leadership Newspaper. CDS tags newly decorated generals on fight against terrorism. And then also for her exceptional leadership, unwavering resilience and dedication to giving a human face to banking, Dame Dr. Adora Umoji is the Banker of the Year 2024, according to Leadership, which is found on page 10. Northern students reject tax reform bills, which of course we've been discussing here this morning in our reviews. And then Fintiri creates 7 Emirates chiefdoms in Adamawa. Troops kill 13 IPOB members, which you can find on page 4 of the Leadership newspaper. Let's go to the Punch. And right here from the Punch newspaper, no regrets, removing subsidy tax reform will go ahead. That's according to Tinubu, which of course you can find on page 2 of the Punch newspaper. And then 935 naira per liter petrol level holds new price, demands further reduction. Federal government rolls out 708 vehicles today, and in order to have fares. And then budget, federal government prosecutes terrorists with 780 million naira. SSAs get 2 billion naira vehicles. NAPTI reunites 1,200 traffic victims with families, which you can find on page 29 of the Punch newspaper. NCDC activates emergency centers as Lassa fever surges. And that's it on the Punch newspaper. Let's go to the Vanguard. What do we have here? Vanguard, sad Yuletide for travelers over sky-high transport fares. And you can find this on page 14 of the Vanguard newspaper. And then tax reforms here to stay, Tinubu. And then went on to say, federal government secures 742 terror convictions, acquits 888 due to evidence gaps. Petrol, NNPC, MRS in petrol price war nationwide. And then you can find that on page 19 of the Vanguard newspaper. BPP ready to present documents to investigators. That's according to the DG. And then Stampede, stop politicizing tragedies. Presidency tells OB, which you can find on page 5 of the Vanguard newspaper. Yuletide. Federal government declares tomorrow, Thursday, next Wednesday, public holidays, which you can find on page 9 of the Vanguard newspaper. And quickly, let's go to the Independent. Despite resistance, Tinubu says tax reforms have come to stay, which of course we can find in almost all the national dailies we've talked about today. And also went on to say declares no plans to cut down on his cabinet. And then CBN directive boosts over-the-counter ATM cash disbursement. Crashed police helicopter operated with expired permit. You can find that story on page 29 of the Daily Independent newspaper. Nigeria recorded 1,154 Lassa fever cases, 190 deaths this year. You can find on page 29 of the Daily Independent. And then Stampedes, it's Carlos to politicize tragedies, APC tells PDP. Also found on page 7. And then to page, continued on page 7, IGP didn't tell Nigerians to attack officers on stop and search. That's according to the police. And then Fintiri creates 7 new emirates in Adamawa. And just down there, you can see 742 terrorists convicted since 2017, which you can find on page 6 of the Daily Independent newspaper. And then back to our conversation here. We started the conversation talking about President Tinubu's resolve not to prop service chiefs. And now we're going to look at the tax reform bills where he says there's no going back. And we are seeing that even northern youths are also complaining that it's not going to favor them. Why do you think the North is always is against these tax reform bills? And what do you think is going to be the outcome in the long run?
I think that the North itself needs to cure itself from some very simple things. I was reading on social media the other day where some youths in the South were saying, outside religion and politics, tell me what the Northern youths are up to. In other words, when people are into creativity, look at the social media thing today in Nigeria. You just see the Southerners, the youths are ahead. You're talking of creating wealth, you're talking of trying to be independent, finding something to do. The Southern youths are just there. So when the youths wake up and say, no, they don't agree with this tax reform, I think there has to be proper rethinking. They should rather talk on the government trying to ensure that the farmers in the North who supply food in the country can now go back to farm. Ginger in southern Kaduna is virtually zero this year. Why? Because there are some diseases that came in and destroyed that. The youths in the North should look at that. Look at the prices of onion. Onions are coming mostly from the North. Are the youths farming that? We should look at all of that. Farmers herders clashes. Do they have that in the Southeast? In the South, it's more of a northern thing. North versus North. So when you wake up, you just say, oh, you are opposed to this, you are opposed. How stable is the North? You said Lagos and Rivers State will get the largest chunk of this. Yes, go and see what Lagos is like today. Go and see the way Port Harcourt is being, Rivers State is being transformed today. But in the North, what are we doing? Government of Rankadede, or what is it? No, I think there has to be a proper rethinking of the North. Let's reject, let's think, let's redesign quite a lot of approaches in the North, so that we can always measure up with the South. When we had Tahir Momo as Minister of Education, you brought a policy and said, if you are not up to 18, you won't go to university. The North didn't see all of that. I mean, it goes more than this. So when Tinubu comes with his tax, whatever, we are saying that, look, okay, if you therefore collect this tax, yes, ensure that they are used judiciously. Not that the region will say we don't agree, it's going to impoverish the North more. We are always used to this sharing, government largesse and all that. And so I tend to disagree with the Northern youth, even though they gave me a prize, a plaque, or what is it?
An award.
An award.
Okay, Udo, let's hear from you.
I think the North, what they are actually, like the Northern youths, are speaking the mind of their leaders, the governors, their lawmakers. And you know that, in recent weeks, the lawmakers, people like Senator Dume, have been kicking against the tax reform bills. And one area that they are actually against is the area of derivative principle, that you get as you earn, you get as you contribute. As he has said, the North have been used to bringing everything to the table and share, this sharing principle. But now, they say, okay, let's work so that you can get. I think it should ginger up the North to work harder. Now, they have lifted the ban on the mining in Zamfara State. So it's an opportunity. You have something to work on. You have something to produce. You have something to to prepare the minds of the youth in the north to go in and work so that you too, you can get something out of it and you get money from this principle of sharing of the VAT that comes from the tax. I think that the north should oriented their mind towards what they are getting from the federation.
Quite an interesting conversation here. But just briefly before we go, I'd like to hear this gentleman tell us exactly how they intend to spend the Christmas holiday. This Christmas in general. How do you usually spend your Christmas?
Well, usually, as except the period I wasn't in service, but usually you can be called upon as a journalist, as a broadcaster. You can be called upon to work. So it's just for you to prepare your mind that this is Christmas. You just have some time to pray with your family, and when the duty demands, you respond.
Okay, let's hear from you, sir.
Yes, the last how many days, years now, from around 20th of December, I'll always be in the village up to the 5th or 7th or even 8th of January before I return. But Magoni, let me tell you, the kidnapping in my area has become a very, very serious matter in Kaura local government in particular. I mean, my direct family, I know how many of my people have been kidnapped. I survived a kidnap attempt. So it's not easy. It's a black Christmas for many of us. And I think I called on the governor of Kaduna State, Obasani, please do something in southern Kaduna. The borders between Plateau and Kaduna has become so porous, very, very porous. Kidnapping virtually every 2 weeks. Someone must be kidnapped. It's not the best, and the good thing, the local government chairman, chief security officer of that local government is Atakar. Let's see what they can do. The commissioner for internal security now, Honorable Kanyip, is also from Atakar, Kaura local government. So the security of that local government that has become so porous is in the hands of indigenes of the local government. So I think the governor of the state should give them the support.